Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, Text 19 is the text that we'll be discussing today. And without further ado, I'll start the class. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Vajajanarandana Yashodanandana Vajajanarandana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Vivadadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Vivadadari Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Janachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Nitai Gora Chanda Nitai Gora Chanda Gurari Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo Jaya Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Privadikacharya Stotra Satashishi Maharaj Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Privadikacharya Stotra Satashishi Maharaj Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवाचार्य गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मथुरा धाम की जय नवद्वीप धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी की जय Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol, all glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, all glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, all glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, all glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Glory to the Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swamini Namini Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Starpani Sri Gaura Kavana Shakti Bhakti Tirtha Namini Narayana Namaskritya Narunchevam Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashta Praiswa Bhatresu Nityam Bhagavata Sivaya Bhavatu Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Good morning, dear devotees. So this class is Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 18th chapter, text 19, which I'll chant 3 times. And if you feel so inspired, then you can do the chanting also. Kuta puna grinanto namatasya mahatama kanta para Yanasya Yung Kanta Shaktir Bhagavanananto Mahat Gunatvadyam Ahu Puna Puna Grinanto Namatasya Mahatamai Kanta Parayanasya Yung Kanta Shaktir Bhagavanananto Mahat Gunatvadyam Ahu Uta Punagri Namatasya Mahatame Kanta Parayanasya Yonanta Shakti Bhagavan Ananto Mahat Gunatvadyam Please chant Hare Krishna.
Kuta punagranато nama tasya mahatmaikanta parayanasya yonanta shaktir bhagavan ananto mahagunatvadyam anantamahu.
Hare Krishna.
Kuta punagranато nama tasya mahatmakainta parayanasya Yonanta Shaktir Bhagavanananto Mahad Gunatvayamananta Mahu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Kruta punargunato nama tasya mahatmaikanta parayanasya yonanta shaktir bhagavanananto mahadgunatvadayamanantamahu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Very nice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Kutaha punargranato nama tasya mahattam ekanta parayanasya yo ananta shaktir bhagavan ananto mahad gunatvadyam anantam ahu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Kutha punargranato nama tasya mahatmaikantaparayanasya yo ananta shaktir bhagwan ananto mahadgunatvadyam Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Very nice. All right, so let's do the word for word. Kuta, what to say. Puna, again. Grinata, one who chants. Nama, the holy name. Tasya, his. Mahatama, great devotees. Ekanta, exclusive. Paranayasya, one who takes shelter of. Ya, he who. Ananta is the unlimited. Shakti, potency. Bhagavan, personality of Godhead. Ananta, immeasurable. Mahat, great. Gunatvat, on account of such attributes. Yam, whom. Anantam, by the name Ananta. Ahu is called. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And what to speak of those who are under the direction of the great devotees? Chanting the holy name of the unlimited, who has unlimited potency. The personality of Godhead, unlimited in potency and transcendental by attributes, is called Ananta, unlimited. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Dvita Bandhu, or the less intelligent, uncultured men born of higher castes, put forward many arguments against the lower caste men becoming brahmanas in this life. They argue that birth in a family of Shudras or less than the Shudras is made possible by one's previous sinful acts, and that one, therefore, has to complete the terms of disadvantages due to lower birth. And to answer these false logicians, Srimad Bhagavatam asserts that one who chants the holy name of the Lord under the direction of a pure devotee can at once get free from the disadvantages due to a lower caste birth. The pure devotee of the Lord does not commit any offense while chanting the holy name of the Lord. There are 10 offenses in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. To chant the holy name under the direction of a pure devotee is offenseless chanting. Offenseless chanting of the holy name of the Lord is transcendental, and therefore such chanting can at once purify one from the effects of all kinds of previous sins. This offenseless chanting indicates that one has fully understood the transcendental nature of the holy name and has thus surrendered unto the Lord. Transcendentally, the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical, being absolute. The holy name of the Lord is as powerful as the Lord. The Lord is the all-powerful personality of Godhead, and he has innumerable names, which are all none different from him, and which are equally powerful also. In the last word of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord asserts that one who fully surrenders unto him is protected from all sins by the grace of the Lord. Since his name and he himself are identical, the holy name of the Lord can protect the devotee from all effects of sins. The chanting of the holy name of the Lord can undoubtedly deliver one from the disadvantages of lower caste birth. The Lord's unlimited power is extended on and on by the unlimited expansion of the devotees and incarnations. And thus every devotee of the Lord and incarnations also can be equally surcharged with the potency of the Lord. Since the devotee is surcharged with the potency of the Lord, even fractionally, the disqualification due to lower birth cannot stand in the way. Om Gnana Timirandasya Gyana Gyana Shalakaya Jakshu Amritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupa Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhi Vrindavaneshwari Shavanu Sute Devi Panamani Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhescha Kripa Sundhya Eva Chaptitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Dvaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Praya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pracharini, Nirveshesha Sunyavari Pastityadi Shitarini. Namo Mahabharanyaya, Krishna Prema Padayati, Krishnaya, Krishna Chaitanya, Namne Guru Srinama. Anandali Lamaya Vigrahaya, Himaviri Vachadishundaraya, Tasmi Mahaprema Raspadaya, Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste, Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste, Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste, Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Hare Krishna. The translation again, and what to speak of those who are under the direction of the great devotees, chanting the holy name of the unlimited, who has unlimited potency. The personality of Godhead, unlimited in potency and transcendental by attributes, is called Ananta, unlimited. Hare Krishna. So this is something I thought about yesterday, and I think I'll bring it up first before we continue here. As we all know, or most of us know, if not all, that we are all subject to 4 defects. One of them is committing mistakes. And to be honest, I did in fact make a slip. I was thinking one thing and said something different. But I think it's a mistake that I should bring it up and put things in the proper perspective. So from a Shastra, I was saying, translated it, but the Shastric text in Sanskrit itself is Mamayvamsa Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manasistani Indriyani Pakatistani Kashati. So Krishna says that the living entities are eternally my fragmental part and parcels. They are that way. But in this material world, they're struggling. They're struggling with the 6 senses that includes the mind. So that's the way it's put there. And so when I was talking about the 6 senses, including the mind, so Krishna has said the mind, in fact, is the 6th sense. In other parts of the Shastra, it's said that way. Of course, the mind is part of the subtle body. And so inadvertently, I did say the senses were also part of the subtle body, which they're not. They are in the physical body. The 5 senses are in the physical body. A good many of them are in our faces, as we can see. Eyes are there, the ears are there, the nose is there, the tongue is there. There's 4 already. Those are in the physical body. The mind is in the subtle body. So I wanted to make that clear, because I did, in fact, this slip out of my mind talking about all the senses being in the subtle body, and that's not correct. All right, so we've got that out of the way. Hare Krishna. So, what to speak of those who are under the direction of the great devotees, chanting the holy name of the unlimited, who has unlimited potency? This is a very, very important statement. Chanting of the holy name. This couldn't be, it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful shloka in this Srimad Bhagavatam. Chanting, but specifically chanting under the direction of great devotees. As Srila Prabhupada would say in the purport later, the pure devotees. The personality of Godhead is unlimited in potency. And the Lord is Janma, Karma, Chame, Divyam, everything about him is Divyam. His birth, his activities, they're all transcendental. Therefore, the chanting is also transcendental activity. And so we are fortunate, even while we are in this material world, in an unfortunate situation in terms of having to struggle to live. It's not like that in the spiritual world. Nobody struggles to live, and they live eternally. They don't get old, they don't get sick. They don't pay to pay bills, none of that. But the chanting of the holy name is great. It's a great activity, wonderful transcendental activity, whether it's done in the spiritual world or whether it's done in the material world by those souls who are fortunate enough to connect to the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hari Hari. And Srila Prabhupada puts the point out. And this is something that was said quite a few times in lectures that I attended. It was made clear. And this time, in this purport, or this particular text, Srila Prabhupada goes into detail to defend the point about the less intelligent, uncultured men born of higher castes, saying that lower caste men cannot become Brahmanas. In the life that they are considered lower caste men, they cannot become Brahmanas. There's Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And as it says, Kalau, Shudra, Samabha, in this age of Kali, practically everyone is Shudra. So then, by that argument, they would say that nobody can become a Brahman unless you're born in the family of Brahmins. And that's your Papa saying the argument is, well, people take birth based on their karma. So if your karma is such that you're going to be poor, then you're going to be poor. You're going to be born in a particular family or a particular part of the country. If you involve yourself in war and now you're born as a victim of war, I mean, those things, karma is very complicated. Very complicated. But not, well, in our sense, for our minds, it's complicated, but not for Yamaraj. It's easier for we definitely can get things done in a very efficient way. But these men born of high caste, they say, oh, you have to be born in a Brahminical family. Yeah, there's one advantage. You can be trained as a Brahmin in a Brahminical family. Yeah, that's there. Just like, mundane example, somebody is born in a family of lawyers, well, sure, it's easier for them to become a lawyer because the law books are there at the house, and the people who are experienced in law are actually family members, they can train you. So that's one thing that's there. But it's not exclusive that, okay, you're born in a family of lawyers, then you become a lawyer. Therefore, if you're not born in a family of lawyers, you can't go to law school to study. That's not true. You said you can study and be taught and become a lawyer. So the same way, so Papa, that's spiritual master, that this doesn't mince any words, it calls them Dvijabandhu. The unfortunate people progenies from the Brahman family, Dvijabandhu. And they're saying, oh, you got to be born in that family of Brahmanas to become a Brahman. And Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada doesn't say he, it says Srimad Bhagavatam makes that point that if one chants the holy name of the Lord being directed by a pure devotee, then the disadvantages due to a lower caste birth can be scrapped off. Yesterday we were talking about this. Sutta Goswami himself admitting that he was not born in a family of Brahmanas. He was born in a mixed family. Yet, he was fortunate enough to be hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam from the list of a pure devotee and being heard by a pure devotee. Asking the question, Shukadeva Goswami Maharaj Pariksit. And then when Shukadeva Goswami also came to the sages in Namisahanya, he got an opportunity to repeat what he had heard and even got more questions from them. Wonderful discussion. So there is the mercy of the pure devotee and the mercy of the Lord coming through. Nobody is banned from becoming or chanting the holy name of the Lord, becoming Brahmana. The only the requirement here is there has to be directions given by the pure devotee, chanting the holy name of the Lord. How to chant the holy name of the Lord. A pure devotee of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada says, does not commit any offense while chanting the holy name of the Lord. The pure devotee is very, very much connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in love. And therefore, when they mention the Lord's name, their heart literally bubbles in love for the Lord. So how can they go wrong and get their mind going somewhere else? The pure devotee of the Lord, for that reason, does not commit offense while chanting the holy name of the Lord, as the Prabhupada says this. So they don't commit any offense. So then there are 10 offenses. In chanting the holy name of the Lord, there are 10 offenses. The first offense is to blaspheme devotees who are engaged in propagating the holy name of the Lord. The holy name of the Lord is as good as the Lord himself. The Lord is absolute. And so if we say something negative towards a devotee, even if the devotee is not pure, but the mind is in the right place. The mind is convinced that Krishna consciousness is the path to follow. So the devotee is there and undergoing purification. But in the meantime, they are serving and propagating the holy name of the Lord. The holy name of the Lord can save the whole world. So a person doing that type of activity is a very special person in the eyes of Srimati Radharani. To offend that person, as my Maharaj like to give an analogy, it's like throwing dirt at them. To say negative things is like throwing something that's very, very bad at them, like trash at them. Now, would you want to actually physically throw trash to someone else? The answer, most likely for everybody's mind, will be no, because we will be causing a problem. So that is not something that we're going to want to do. We have to stay away from doing that kind of offenses. So the first offense, devotees, and sometimes our minds ask us to make devotees, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Sometimes we categorize devotees. And I've heard this. We'll talk about what Dham is. This particular devotee is doing so and so and so, and then some of the God family members says, oh, he's not so advanced. Those kind of statements. And to actually think, even though I won't go into details about it, I don't even remember who said that now, because it's just, I know it was just one of the devotees who was in fact a God family member for that particular one that he spoke about like that. Now the person that was spoken about like that is actually a guru now with disciples. You can imagine. This was service that I had sometime back in the 1990s, towards the end of close to 2000. And this happened. And I was very, very, very disturbed to hear it. But of course, I knew I had to put it out of my mind as soon as possible. So to blaspheme devotees is serious. Very, very, very serious. You have to be very careful. Devotees are like a double-edged sword. If you misuse it, it can, in fact, mess you up. You have to be very, very careful. And the second offense is about the demigods and Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, they are not at the level of Lord Vishnu. So those who are in whatever religions that make them think that, oh, they are all the same. I've heard this also. People that came said, oh, they're all the same. They're all powerful. Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, and they go on and on and on and add other Lord Ram, but all of that gets added, lumped into one. There is a leader, the most supreme personality of Godhead, Vishnu, should not be put at the same level as Lord Brahma, who is a jiva. It's a jiva, living entity like us, very advanced, like us, and Lord Shiva. Demigods should not be put at the same level as Lord Vishnu, Krishna. Third one, don't disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Spiritual master is a representative of Krishna. And spiritual mastership, that whole point of having guruship, lack of a better word, has been put there by Krishna himself. Tadvidi Panipatena, Paripashnena Sevaya. He said, approach a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and then render service to him. Krishna is saying this in Bhagavad Gita. Render service to him. He was telling Arjuna, render service. Approach spiritual master, inquire. Arjuna was inquiring, and he rendered the service of fighting because Krishna was his spiritual master at that time. So the spiritual master's statement is important, very, very important, and it's important to obey them. And as a matter of fact, we have what we have from Srila Prabhupada himself because he obeyed the instruction of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj is the one that told Srila Prabhupada, you get money, you print books. Come teach Krishna consciousness in the West, in the English language. Did he do it? Absolutely. Did he write the books? Absolutely. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, that was his idea that in the society there should be the GBC, Governing Body Commission. That was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj's idea to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada set it up before he left his body. So all the important things, Srila Prabhupada was a very, very good listener too. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj liked him very much because he stayed with the spiritual master, hearing him and thereby growing like that. He's a pure devotee, but his actions are examples for us to follow. So the orders of the spiritual master are very important. So much so that even when he says, that is my opinion, even opinion should be taken like an order. The only time that the devotee is able to do something based on what they think of is when the spiritual master tells generally what is to happen. And he says, you take care of the details. And even that you have to pray for guidance from the same spiritual master. And guidance from Lord Guranga. And then you go about it. Because then you're putting yourself in the position of, I am a servant. I'm always a servant. This task has been given to me, and please guide me through it. It should be priority. The fourth offense is to blaspheme Vedic literature and the literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. The Lord in sound and in words, same powerful Lord is there. Therefore, if we blaspheme Vedic literature, it's like blaspheming Krishna. Vedic literature talks about, especially the cream, the commentary of Vedanta Sutra, Srimad Bhagavatam. We should respect Srimad Bhagavatam just as much as we respect the deity. Very, 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 very important. We shouldn't think of the holy name as just imagination. Make up something that is not true about the holy name or put it down for some different purpose than what it's intended. And we shouldn't give us some interpretation outside of what the Shastra says about the holy name. So imagine, we shouldn't have it as imagination, interpretation, and we definitely shouldn't commit sinful activities. Using the holy name, it's going to get us out. If we chant, it's so powerful, it's Krishna himself, therefore I can do something wrong, and then I can chant the holy name, and I'll be all right, and they'll be wiped out. The holy name is not for play like that. It's not for our convenience like that. Krishna is one that we are supposed to serve. The holy name is Krishna. So we serve the holy name. We chant the holy name in a proper consciousness, that's service to the holy name. We shouldn't have the holy name dumped in the same karmakandic, fruitive action type things or the rituals that we do wanting specific things, like the way people chant mantras to specific mantras to specific demigods for things that demigods can give. You don't use mantra in that same way. So also, again, to prevent blasphemy by people who don't really understand God. On the one hand, we're supposed to preach to them to get them interested. But if they show that they're not interested and begin to be offensive and blasphemous, we should stay away from them. We have to be careful who we open up to about Krishna. So as we are opening up to about Krishna, we also have to be careful. The glories of a holy name, that we do not talk about that to someone who is faithless. And the last one is not to have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name. If we don't have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name, we don't have complete faith in Krishna. It's that bad. Because Krishna is in holy name and his holy name are identical. His holy name and himself are identical. To have incomplete faith in the chanting of the holy name is like to have incomplete faith in Krishna. And what happens? The person who is thinking that way is also maintaining material things, attachments for the purpose of sense gratification. And finally, we should be attentive while chanting the holy name. So that wraps up the 10 offenses. The 10 offenses, we have to be careful when we're chanting. And if we obey these, then our chanting will be quite smooth. And in fact, we will derive so much from it, because that's the Lord, calling the Lord's name. It's very, very important to be attentive. It's like if you want to call somebody, what do? You look at them. But if you take your head away, look in a different direction, and call that person, the person turns around to look at you, and you're not even looking at them. Looking in a different direction. What are they going to think of when we do that? What do they think of me if I did that? So that when we are chanting, yes, I know the mind sometimes plays games. That's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj says, you beat the mind in the morning to get it straight. And Guru Govinda Maharaj says, the way to beat the mind, because you can't physically beat the mind, the way you can beat the mind is say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In other words, you just emotionally override the mind in all kinds of crazy things you would think about. Chanting the holy name strongly and with great conviction. So, to chant the holy name under the direction of a pure devotee is offenseless chanting. Sometimes we worry about this. Under the direction of a pure devotee, it's offenseless chanting. Offenseless chanting of the holy name of the Lord is divya, transcendental. And so the holy name can purify us. And sometimes, yes, our mind goes different ways. But the same pure devotee of the Lord has said, after you finish your round, chant Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sridhar Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Why? The Lord is the Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate. The Lord is very, very, this is Lord Chaitanya, is very, very magnificent. So he helps purify our chanting. This is the mercy of the pure devotee of the Lord. The pure devotee of the Lord himself does not commit any offense chanting the holy name of the Lord. You hear Srila Prabhupada chanting, he chants right through. Now, we're not at that level. And sometimes some of our sannyasis chant right through, and some of our sannyasis say, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, because they're trying to help us. The pure devotee, when he does that, it comes down to the level of second class, those of us that need the preaching. So then the acharya, the guru, will chant sometimes like that, and chant the Panchatattva mantra, so that he's directing us to do the same. And of course, their level is their level, and if they choose not to, that's up to them. But we have to chant the Panchatattva mantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shirvaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. After every round, 108 times of repeating the holy name. Like that. So little by little, the holy name will purify us. Hmm? When we get to the point of offenseless chanting, Srila Prabhupada says the one who chants like that has fully understood the transcendental nature of the holy name and has surrendered to the Lord, just like the Lord says, Sarvadharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papevya mokshayishanimaschaha. The religion say this, the religion say that, and so on and so on. Abandon all of them and just surrender to me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead owns the spiritual as well as the material. Everything comes from him. The wise who are devotees of the Lord, they know that, and so they have connected their hearts to him and they just worship him with all of their hearts. They talk about him, and that's where the wonderful transcendental happiness is achieved by them. And therefore, we have to be really connected to the holy name. Chant it for our own benefit, connecting with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chant it out so that other living entities can also hear and benefit from it. And by so doing, we will help to elevate the level when this planet is at, which is quite low at this point, because the demons are running things. But that happens in the material world. The demons run things for a while, and then Krishna comes and sets the record straight. That happened in the last Kurukshetra war. Why was the war fought? Because Krishna wanted to put Maharaj Yudhishthira on the throne. So by his will, things can be changed. And all we have to do is follow the footsteps of the Acharya. What he says, we do. When he says it and he does it, then it's like show and tell. And this is how we tell, and then you also show it. So then we copy like that and try to do the best that we can and follow his orders. So the 10 offenses are what we've gone through now, and be careful of all of them. The first one, don't play with devotees' feelings and emotions. Be careful when speaking to them. Truth must be spoken, but it's supposed to be spoken in a very palatable way. And the way to speak palatably is to use mild words and those words that sting people, because then the devotee would take it as an insult. And once you change the devotee's mood and make them feel hurt, you've already offended them. And so one of the ways is every devotee that's trying to serve, you have to praise the service that they do. And you can say something wonderful about every devotee. So if you want to say something that they need to be aware of, something that they're doing that's wrong that needs to be changed, you can start by talking about what they do and they do nicely and praise them for that. And then you use mild words to kind of make the point about the change that they need to make. The change that they need to make. Whatever they're doing that needs to be corrected. And even with that, the smart thing to do is use either the Shastra or the spiritual master says like this. And that's what we've learned. So this is the way Srila Prabhupada directs it. We do it this way. So you don't even say in terms of I want you to do. It doesn't become I want you to do. But the spiritual master directs us that we do it this way. So this is just for your information. Like that. To be respectful the whole time. Respectful of the person's feelings. And in that way, if we have really things that bother, and we have emotions, things that bother our minds, then yeah, you may want to say it out, but never in front of that person if it's going to offend them. So we have to be tactful in how we use our situations and words when we are in front of devotees and helping them. And when that is practiced, the whole temple then has a very wonderful atmosphere. Devotees feel good. Devotees feel that they are needed. Devotees feel that they are respected. And we're not talking about just respecting only people who are older than us, but how you speak so nicely, even to the younger devotees, makes a big difference. Remember, the young devotees are the future of the movement. If they feel bad, guess what? They're gone. They're going to go. And we'll be at fault for doing that because they should have stayed and they're gone. But their point is, I don't even feel appreciated. I'm spoken to, like spoken down on, and so on. Never do that. So it turns out to be the first one of the 10 offenses. Be careful not to blaspheme devotees. And the last one, be attentive while chanting. Hmm? So the holy name of the Lord is unlimited. And all the names of the Lord has the same potency. Hmm? Still, Lord Chaitanya came as a devotee to tell us we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And so, if we do that, then we will in fact grow and be humble, just like Lord Chaitanya says in his Shastika, Trinadapi Sunichena, Teradapi Sahishnana, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. One who thinks himself lower than the grass and who is more tolerant than a tree and who does not expect personal honor, yet is always prepared to give respect to others, can very easily and always chant the holy name of the Lord. And that's why the 10 offenses are put that way, to be careful about what to do and what not to do, because the 10 offenses are what not to do. And if we obey that, then we will grow wonderfully. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you, dear devotees, for listening. And now it's time to unmute your phones if you so wish, or put some text in the chat concerning this or any other thing else that you want to do. Mother Gita has already raised the hand. Go ahead, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All praise to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for a powerful class on chanting, which we need practically to hear every day. And so the whole essence of today's lecture of yours was chant, 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 and be happy. And there was a powerful statement which you made that we must try to connect with the holy name. And as far as I can understand, that is possible when we chant attentively. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And of course, the credit goes to Guru and Gauranga. After all, they're the ones that are directing us and showing us how to chant. And so this is, whatever you feel about the lecture is because of the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. I'm just a mouthpiece talking about it. But we're all learning and growing. Thank you, Hare Krishna, on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and Guru and Lord Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Any other comments or questions or takeaways? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Prabhupada. This is a very nice class because it's reminding me of the basic Krishna consciousness that one needs to perfect on before even thinking of going up, because we tend to always weaken the foundation of our Krishna consciousness, which is the chanting of the holy name, and think that everything else is going to fall into place. So thank you so much, as Mother Gita said, thank you so much for bringing it up. When you talked about blaspheming devotees, can you explain what does blaspheme actually mean, and how can we, what is the reverse, the opposite of blasphemy? How can we develop the opposite of blaspheme, that behavior?
In simple language, I know the blaspheme, and in an English dictionary definition, it's more specific towards one thing, saying negative. But the general way is we have to relate to devotees so as to not upset them. Be careful about the feelings of a devotee when you're speaking to them. If you do that, you will not say anything in a way that would make the person feel bad. And if the person feels bad, you basically are under the umbrella of blasphemy. Mm-hmm. You criticize, definitely that is not good. If you say something that's negative, say something to suggest the positivity that can come from it. Say it the other way, the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. Rather than complain about the wrong thing to do, but no solution. Then that's criticism. You've left it wide open like that. That's criticism. Mm-hmm. That's part of blasphemy. So blasphemy is really an umbrella word like that. And what to do not to blaspheme is be nice to devotees at all times. Be nice to devotees at all times. It does not matter whether the person is initiated before you, after you, older than you, same age, younger than you, younger than me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We always have to be respectful when we're dealing with devotees. Devotees are not perfect. We are not perfect. As I started this morning, admitting that I made a mistake, and I have to actually bring it up and put it there, put it in its right perspective. So mistakes will be made. Sometimes it's bad habits, and that has to be worked on. We all have bad habits. Why else are we in the material world that's conditioned so? The bad habits are there. We have been practicing it for what? Literally, living bad habits for lifetimes. And so to purify that, it's not something that would happen overnight. We have to be more and be careful about our emotions and still bring things up to help everybody grow. Otherwise, if a person is made to feel bad, then they will not like the temple, they will not like the devotees, they will not like the temple, and next thing you know, Maya has pulled them all the way out of Krishna consciousness altogether. And that should not happen. We should never be the reason for that to happen. Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, Mother Geeta, please.
Hare Krishna.
With your permission, if I could add 2 points.
Absolutely, please.
Thank you. So what I had heard is that to avoid blasphemy, we should try to magnify the good qualities of others and
Absolutely.
magnify our faults. And another point was, which I had heard, was that if we feel, actually blasphemy starts first in the mind, then words, and then actions. So if we feel that so and so devotee is very proud, the first thought that should come is, I am proud. That is why I recognize pride. And that is why I'm thinking that the other devotee is proud. So if we can look in that way. Thank you.
Thank you very much for adding all these points, very, very important points. And as you were talking and I was hearing, I was thinking, this is humility. This is humility. Magnifying the other person's positive things. In fact, it is said, don't even talk about the negative things. Talk about the positive things of the person. And there's very, very, very big advantage of doing that. If we think, as Mother Gita put it, we think first, and then the words come out, and then the actions. If we think negatively, we will crowd our mind with negativity. And the person that crowds their mind with negativity is a person that people are not going to want to be around so much. Because you keep hearing all this one, that one. It reminds me, I'll tell a quick story. So I went to visit my sister here in the United States. And while we were there, I think the whole family went. And while we were there, and she's a Christian, she's in the church. 2 church members came, and they were all sitting. And then when they sat at the dining table, 2 Mataji's and my sister, and they started talking about everybody in the temple, the church that they talked about, they said something negative about. And I'm in the dining table, I'm in the kitchen area, and I can hear it. And I was feeling so uncomfortable. One negative thing after another. And I'm going, it would be nice to stop these people if I can, but I don't even know them. This is the first time that I'm, hearing this. So unfortunately, I didn't do anything about it. I put up with it, but how uncomfortable feeling that it was. And both of them were just raising their voice and go on and on and on. So that's what happens. It creates a very negative atmosphere. It creates a very, very negative atmosphere. And when you chant like that, Hare Krishna mantra, you become at some point sensitive. The more you chant, the more sensitive you become. And now these things were sometimes in Kami life, we would just saw another thing, not even worry about it. But the devotee can be affected. So negativity, they gotta go. As Madhgita was saying, you magnify the positive aspect, then your mind has so much positivity, and you yourself feel good, and even your health will be better in the way you think, the way we think. So we have to be careful. Make sure that the things. Madhgita, please go on. I'm inspired that you're adding more to it. Hare Krishna.
Looks like I'm on a roll.
Yes, you are. And that's wonderful for all of us.
So when you were talking about, blaspheming on the dining table, I remembered a story I had heard that there were three, I don't know, you call them priests in the church or, the ones who give the sermon. So
Yes, the priest,
they,
yeah.
so they were always fighting with each other, and that was affecting the congregation. So one wise priest was sent to them, to settle the matter. And he just made a small statement, but very powerful. He said, "You three are fighting amongst each other like cats and dogs. But do you know, one amongst you is Jesus Christ?" And he left. And after that, each one thought, oh, maybe the other two, one of the other two is is Jesus Christ. So let me be more respectful. I don't know. I may be, blaspheming Jesus Christ. And this is how all three of them thought, and they started respecting each other.
What a strategy. What an interesting strategy. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you for that nice story. Yeah. And actually, the way it connects to us as you were talking, this story is, you don't really know. You don't really know the caliber of the so-called new person who has come. You don't know. There are people who have come and they've read so many of Srila Prabhupada's books already. What to speak of Nimai? When Nimai was born, did they know? Everybody around know that that was the Supreme Personality of Godhead that had come later on when he was initiated, called Lord Chaitanya. Did they know? Nimai. Nimai, all the Nimai. People were even thinking in Navadvip that Nimai is so intelligent. If you could just be a devotee, how much benefit would come to the whole of Nadia. But he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they simply didn't know. So you never really know. So we have to be careful. Another point that says be careful how to deal with devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mother Gita. Nice story. Anyone else want to add or have a takeaway? Any last takeaways? There's one in the chat from Dear Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for reminding about the importance of pure chanting and avoiding the 10 offenses. All glories to Guru, all glories to Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Any other comments? If not, then thank you very much. And let's keep our Kartik vows up. It's a wonderful time to make sure that our special or extra activity we do, we make sure we stay with it because we're getting so many more credits, 1,000 times more credits for everything we do in this period. Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarubhishya kripa sindhivya evacha Pratitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Vaishnav Thakur ki jai. Gaura Prabhupada. Hari 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 Bol. Jai.
Hare Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Have a nice day and a nice weekend. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Hare
Hare
Krishna. Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Jai. Go Shri Prabhupada.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Go Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.